Okay, SPLs, Scholar Practitioner Leaders, AI Scientists. Welcome back to our Week 8 oral lecture. And this is for the Week 8 here in our summer of 2025, Transforming Business with Artificial Intelligence, Section MSAI 599, B01. Now, I want to piggyback still on our Week 7 material. I just want to go ahead and go over our overview and objectives and the learning material from this successful past week 7, as I just alluded to in lecture 101, 104. Just want to say that I did things a little different on this last week here in our time together. And that's because I wanted to go over the 3 assignments like I did in the initial 104 lecture because I felt that that was really crucial because, again, there was a lot that we did last week, guys, especially that group project. And as I stated, I was up until the wee hours of the morning with you guys, just going over everything. And I sent a couple of emails out to our groups, just a couple of the groups, for some additional points that I awarded those respective groups. So it's always good to always make sure on my end that I'm always dotting every I and crossing every T. So I did that last night, along with looking at you guys' presentations, group presentations, along with your case study as well as your discussion post with your peer reviews. So I did all that last night. A very, very busy night because, again, we're now here in our week 8, transitioning in to our final week, guys. And we want to enjoy the summer, right? Enjoy those wonderful dandelions. So I'm making sure that everybody is good to go as far as their points being awarded appropriately, as well as in this week 7, want to make sure that I go ahead and go over those assignments like I did with you guys in this final week. And that's, again, just wanted to change things up just to get that out of the way because I know you guys are really being meticulous about these last points. So that's why I did the assignments going over that first, because I usually do that in the second lecture for the previous week, but I want to do that first. So I just want to give you an overview of why I took the assignments first. Now let's go ahead and go over the overview, the actual overview from this past week 7, along with the objectives and learning material. So just remember that I discussed last week, as I know you guys do, that when I stated that it was all about exploring the impact of artificial intelligence, right? And it was on the tourism, hospitality industries that we had to, well, we was going to actually be delving into the various ways in which AI is being used to enhance the customer overall experience, as you guys saw, right? And also, we wanted to see how that AI could actually improve personalization as well as streamlining business overall operations. And I'm hoping that you guys really enjoy that because tourism as well as hospitality industry is $1 billion industry, as you guys found out, right? So also, it was all about discussing the advantages of AI over traditional human methods and the way that the technology is being explored, right, continuously when you're talking about advancing the whole entire world, right? So that was pretty cool, really understanding and getting a good grasp on that. And I'm hoping that you guys did. And from the looks of your assignments, it looks like everybody knocked it out the box, right? So I appreciate that. And then also, we further examined the overall specific applications of AI tourism and hospitality, such as hotel receptions, as I mentioned last week, self driving cars, big data analysis. So we looked at all those 3 variables last week that I discussed with you guys. So I know you saw that in your readings as well as the case study. So that was pretty cool. And then also, we took a look at those respective, therefore mentioned case studies of companies that have actually successfully integrated AI into their operation. So by the end of last week, as you saw closing out last night on your projects, right? By the end of last week, you would have been able to actually gain, right, the understanding of the most influential areas of AI in tourism and the hospitality sector. So everybody did very well. Like I said, I'm really, really heads and heels over what you guys done as far as getting all your assignments in over the past couple of weeks, actually, in a timely manner. So kudos to the AI scientists. Kudos to the AI scientists. That's pretty cool. Alrighty, guys. Now, and then also, additionally, we explored the implementation of AI in the transportation industry. So, again, as I mentioned last week, it was all about hospitality. It was all about the overall tourism industry. And then lastly, which is my pet peeve, as I mentioned, if you go look out to my LinkedIn bio, and also, as I mentioned last week, if you want to connect with me, search for me uh, on the actual LinkedIn, and you will see my bio is under Dr. Mark D. Mosley. I could be a credible reference to my AI scientist, right? I can send you a nice recommendation letter. You can always store that, and you can always submit that when you're looking for a place of employment. Put me down as a referral, right? It's always good to have a professor who can validate for one of their AI scientists. And what better professor than me? You guys have been with me for over the past 8 weeks, and I'm very comfortable with you guys. So using me as a reference. So if you want to send me a reference referral request from LinkedIn, it's all automatic. Just send it to me, send it to my LinkedIn profile. But first, you got to connect with me on LinkedIn. So I'm highly recommending me, guys, to be your career, not just over the next couple of months. I'm talking about a lifetime. I can always be your referral for potential employment. Hopefully, those referrals, especially from me, goes a long way for you guys in your overall respective AI careers. Okay, so just remember that. Again, I'm on the LinkedIn, Dr. Mark D as in dog Mosley. Feel free to shoot me a connection request, and I will be more than happy to give you a wonderful referral. Okay, as I mentioned, additionally, as far as our overview, now it was all about exploring the transportation industry. And then we was all about looking to focus on the applications of those autonomous vehicles that I just mentioned. And we we're going to also be discussing the concepts of the overall autonomous vehicles and how the technology is being used to make them a reality, which you're already seeing, and how they have potentially reshaped our society. And also, as I mentioned last week, those I know for a fact, those autonomous cars are really big in Phoenix, Arizona, and also in San Francisco. Because every time I see them, I'm like, whoa, those cars are driving by themselves. Wow. So it's always pretty cool to see that big thing on top of them, the whole entire satellite that guides them has that big round black thing on top, and you see the car is just going by itself. So it's pretty interesting. Okay. So, yes, those autonomous vehicles, guys, in the transportation industry is really happening. And then also you can buy cars like Tesla, right? Where you can just let it drive while you in the car, which I don't think I would ever do that because I trust myself more than I trust somebody else, especially some automated. Because for me, as we all know, technology tends to break down. Something happens to it, it can short out or anything. And we know from being AI scientists, that can happen because it's electronics, right? It could be a bad capacitor. We know this, but 99.9% of the time it works. I don't even want to take a tenth of a possibility, something that can happen with my life. Something to think about, guys. Food for thought. Right? Yes, it's very highly unlikely, but I don't even want to take that small percentage. So always remember that, guys, in regard to automation, AI, things can happen. And far as with your life, I don't want to be that one half a percent that it can happen to me. Just food for thought, right? As we are all AI scientists, including yours truly. So, also, you saw last week, we actually discussed, as you saw, the concept of those vehicles and how those technology, those autonomous vehicles are actually making them more of a reality, and have the potential to reshape their society, as I previously mentioned. And also the current state of the autonomous vehicles in the marketplace, as I've been going over with you guys, and how the retesting phase, how you got to test those cars, and the investments being made by big corporations. Okay, and then lastly, going into that week 5 that you guys saw and went through, it was all about looking at the individuals who are actually making an impact on autonomous vehicles realities and the data from those cameras and sensors and how they use the experience to learn both positive and negative things from those cars that are reshaping our reality. So I know you guys really enjoy those readings and doing your research on that. I thought that was pretty fun to give that to you guys and let you expound on that. And reading your papers, your group projects, you guys really did. And then finally, you had to examine your case studies I talked about earlier. That's why I went over that first. Look at the case studies of AI applications in the autonomous vehicles, such as the therefore mentioned Tesla, right? And then electronic cars, Uber, AI platform, and the AI and what is called We Ride. So, okay, so those are all the things that I mentioned to you last week in regard to the overview that was coming to that week 7. And then by the end of the week, there was 8 things that I really wanted to make sure that you guys took in and really had a good understanding. Number 1 was making sure that you was able to look at the various enabling technologies for AI in tourism, right? And hospitality industries, including the expert systems, the overall voice chat box, artificial neural networks, and the therefore mentioned previously from last week, the sentiment analysis. Number 2 of 8 was learn about the different applications of AI in tourism and hospitality, such as smart tourism, demand forecasting, which is huge, and then custom data analytics. 3 of 8 was all about analyzing case studies of companies such as I mentioned last week, good old Hen Ha Hotel. You remember that? I mentioned that to you, the good old Hen Na Hotel, Hilton Hotels, Airbnb, as I mentioned, the Airbnbs that I mentioned previously, and then also Expedia, good old Expedia, to gain insight into the implementation of AI in the overall tourism and hospitality industry. Number 4 of 8 was making sure from last week that you evaluate the potential benefits and challenges of using AI, right? In the tourism and hospitality industry and its impact on customer experience, business operations, and competition. Number 5 was all about, from last week, understanding the application of AI technology in transportation that I want you to look at. Number 6 was identify the new applications of AI in autonomous vehicles again, ships and drones, especially the drones. I really like what's going on with the drones and ships as well when you're talking about the ocean. Number 7 was gain knowledge about the important machine learning techniques, such as deep learning that I had mentioned last week, and then swarm-based fuzzy controllers, wireless sensors, and the actuator networks, the good old actuator networks. I really want you to delve into that, guys, because it's good that a lot of people don't know about those networks. Those are really prevalent because it doesn't sound glamorous, but it does major things. So I'm hoping, and I can't wait till I read you guys' work, that you got some good benefits understanding about actuator networks. And then 8 of 8 last week, as far as my overall deliverables from the module objectives that I was expecting that you guys have in your hip pockets and understand those 8 items. The last of 8 was learn about the case studies of applying AI in the transportation sector, such as AI and Tesla electronic cars, the overall Tesla electronic cars, as well as Uber AI platform and the AI in We Ride. Okay, so those was my 8 deliverables that I was really wanted you guys to really knock out the box. So you had my oral lecture last week for week 7, and then you had those 2 articles that I gave you, the article about AI in tourism and travel, and then I gave you that second article about the AI in car transform the transportation industry. So that was a great article about how does AI, actually transform the transportation industry. So those 2 articles was great. All you had to do was print those out. And then closing out week 7 last week, I gave you 4 lecture videos, right? The first one was AI and big data and digital transportation in hospitality. And the second one was AI changing the traveling world, right? That was another great lecture video. So those two videos were right off the bat excellent videos that I really enjoyed giving those to you. And then the last two from week 7 was AI in the public transportation. And last but not least was the lecture 8.2 by John Legend, Mapping. So those 4 lecture videos, guys, should have really did a wonderful world for you. Okay, guys, when I come back, we'll go into our last week 3 of 4, then 4 of 4 for our last 2 lectures.